because I just watched a 17-year-old boy go to prison because his monitoring equipment kept running out of electricity. He might have been doing it intentionally, I don't know that, but I do know that it ran out of power all the time so that he could, figure out how to get out of the house. So, it might have been self-done, I don't know that, but yeah, they shouldn't be running out of electricity like that. I had a guy that just got arrested that had a monitor on and it ran out of power, and he had to go get a charger because the one that he had wasn't working, and it was on the holiday weekend. He's now sitting in jail. MDOC had put all of the parolees that were sex offenders into one house to keep them contained in one area so that the Nighthawks could come in and keep an eye on them and make sure they were at where they were supposed to be. So there was one night where there was a fire in the house, and the guys were all standing outside, and one of the guys was extremely paranoid that he was going to go to jail because his monitor had ran out, and he ran to the police station to go tell him what was going on and where he was at to make sure that he was in compliance with all of his rules and regulations, and they turned him down and he had to go to jail because he was out of his area of the burning house. So now if I say, okay, go ahead, I got your back, then my guys can go ahead and go do what they got to do, and I just make sure the probation or the GPS people know. So I have a lot more connections and cleaned up some of those problems that I had so that I could help my guys, do a successful probation. So, we've been working on it. Just every problem that we have, we try to figure out what we can do better in trying to keep them, from going back to jail for the violations for those GPSs. Well, I mean, GPSs is just like probation and going to prison or jail. It's based on that specific person. So if you look, if you're privy to, how many arrests they've had, what they've done, and you can look at their whole criminal history, and then I can say, okay, I'll take this guy, he should go on probation rather than go to prison, those, and then on a GPS, if I feel like they need to be monitored for a while, some of those guys need some of that supervision. And just to make sure that they don't go to prison, all we have left to offer is that GPS. So, I just had a client that was not allowed to go to MSU, and that was part of the probation stipulation. So this guy was on the GPS, and we followed him, and he went that close to the border, but would never cross it, so that we could watch and see exactly where he was going, because that was the agreement East Lansing made so that he didn't go to prison. So we have worked some of those, nitty-gritty things out so that they don't. But then again, he crossed the line and went back in, so now he's in jail. So, it's based on each client. You can't blanketly say that it's not good for everybody or it is good for everybody. I found that sometimes they do need that, sometimes they don't. They do overextend it. I think a lot of probation officers overuse it for people that don't need to be on that monitor. If they continue to violate, then you think about that as an alternative or a sanction. That's what we've been actually doing with mental health court, is it's became a sanction instead of a routine monitoring equipment. So